Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 104.
You sure?
We're back.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure that this is episode 104. If you're coming here from episode 103, then it's 104. If you're coming here from episode 104 of another type, then who knows?
If you're
Maybe
coming
it's
here from
105.
episode 87, you skipped a lot of good shit.
You skipped a lot. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a good episode, 87 was.
Yep.
So 87 to 104, it's a good jump. But
Good.
Go back and listen to the rest.
Yes.
I think episode 101 to now have been three of our best episodes that we've recorded.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, ever.
100%.
We've done this for 2 years, and I think those are three of our best episodes.
So that's the way I want to look at it. I say, people, we're entering our third year.
Yeah, I like that. We're entering our third year.
We're
We
entering-
have this 2 years in our rearview mirror.
Yeah. Do you agree? Is that how you would present it to people? Like when
Well,
I'm
I hadn't.
But okay.
But now,
well,
yeah,
here,
sure.
I could pitch it to you how I pitch it to people. I go, how long you been doing it for? I go, well, we have over 100 episodes and we're entering our third year.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, 3 years, and I just let them
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that.
That's a good way to do it.
But
Entering our third year.
yeah.
Huh.
So we're gray beards,
Yeah,
as they call it.
it's happening.
Wizards.
Wizards.
Podcast wizards.
We should still do wizard staff on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I've always wanted to do
that.
that.
That's going to be a
I've never
fantastic
done it.
game.
I wanna
I've
do
never
it.
done it either, but I want to.
Yeah, we just cheap beer and duct tape. That's all you need.
Perfect. Well, happy Labor Day and happy National Beer Lovers Day. That was also on the same day.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yesterday.
Beer is a labor of love.
It is. So take a day off, drink some beer. That's not my beer news. I'll go last.
Okay.
Because it's a perfect segue
Into
Story.
your beer this week.
Yeah.
Into beer. Okay.
into beer.
All
Into
right.
beer review.
I actually have one that's Labor Day related and timely. Did you guys catch wind of what Surly is doing?
I'd heard something about Surly.
I've seen some things. Surly's
Isn't
been
there like a union thing going on there?
Yeah,
picketing.
with Labor Day and picketing, correct. So Surly is the biggest brewer in the state of Minnesota.
Okay.
They have a massive beer hall, massive, where they serve food and beer and have hundreds of employees. They decided to close it down, and it just coincides with 2 days prior to that. They, the servers and the staff for the beer hall, they're not stopping Surly production. Surly's got way too much momentum, so the beer's always going to be there. But the beer hall and massive parking lot, I've only driven by because I have strong thoughts on Surly. So they announced the staff that they were going to unionize, and 2 days later, Surly announced that they're closing the beer hall. So
But the staff includes the production, the manufacturing part too, right?
No. So they're still going to make beer. They're not.
So that staff is not unionizing.
That staff is not unionizing. Only the service staff.
Just the service staff.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you would say the front of house staff.
Sure.
Surly has come out because they've gotten a lot of flack for this, that union busting,
yeah.
etc. And they said between COVID and their business is down from the time that COVID started, March,
Sure.
to now 82% down in the same time compared to last year. So this has been in the plans. They just didn't announce it for a while. So the timing looks odd, but they're
sucks.
like, don't look there. This is something we're going to do so we can keep the production going.
Yeah.
Because the production's trying to keep the restaurant beer hall open. So I just thought on Labor Day, now granted this news came out last week, but it's been big news. And as I travel to Minnesota this weekend, I'm sure it's going to be something that the guys and gals I work with up there are going to mention to me, hey, did you say that on the podcast? So that's a big one. So,
Yeah.
like I said,
Smells fishy.
right around Labor Day.
Smells fishy.
Yeah, they said, they can open, all breweries are struggling, microbreweries.
Yeah, it's really easy to point to that and be like, that's the
Yeah.
reason why we're doing it. It's, I swear it's not for this.
It is a massive, I'm trying to compare it.
Air Force Museum. Bigger?
It
good
is
size.
it is a small hangar.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Small hangar.
So like we've all been to Rheingeist, so Rheingeist, the top floor, don't include the beer garden. I would say it's 2 to 3 times bigger than that. And they have tables and
Wow,
they serve food.
pretty
Where
big.
Rheingeist, they don't. They're,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big space then.
So, and you may have seen video of the picketers. There's a lot of employees that are going to be adversely
I had not seen
affected by
videos
this.
of the picketers. It's weird to me that they're. I mean, I guess the union, like the union rep, whatever, how that works, they would be different for service staff versus
The production
staff.
Yeah.
They'd probably be different unions. So I guess that makes sense. As I think
guess
about
I
it.
don't know.
But I feel like if you're rallying against some condition or conditions,
Right.
then all staff probably feel similarly.
Right. So
At least that's what I think. I don't know.
I mean, the beer hall hasn't been open as long as the brewery has, so I don't know about the relationship there. I'm sure I'm going to hear more
Yeah,
as
probably.
I travel up there this weekend. But and like I said, with Labor Day coinciding, I just thought it was one way. And like you said, it seems fishy. It's just stupid poor timing, and people because I would still say the restaurant is a part of the beer industry. People, I heard they've had good food, and we've made that joke before on the podcast.
Sure.
But I've tried to go there one time because everyone raves on the food and, just to give the beer a shot because everyone in my group loves the beer that I was going with. But we went to the parking lot, and the line was out the door of this massive. They couldn't accommodate. It's like a Hofbrauhaus size-wise. Like, that's the
there was
seating
still a
arrangement.
line out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
This was not during COVID?
No, massive. No, last
Jeez.
year or 2 years ago.
Gotta keep up. I mean, Branch and
It's
Bone
insane.
can manage, and they're tiny. This place is huge.
Yeah,
And they
and
can't
I don't know
manage.
if they do their own.
So what are your strong opinions? Are they pro or not? Are they positive or negative?
For Surly?
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Okay.
Overrated.
Overrated. Got
Yeah,
it.
it's-
You said you had strong opinions. This is
Yeah.
a beer podcast. We got to talk
Yeah,
about it.
I don't get the shtick.
I noticed you've never brought Surly,
I've never brought
That's
Surly.
true.
I've
I just
Surly.
noticed that now.
so
Yeah.
In this moment.
Like
he
we
was pro.
last week we had a Minnesota beer, a much smaller production. A couple weeks before then, Juggalo Dave gave us Waconia, a much smaller brewery. Again, much better beer. I just think it's. I put it on
Waconia
the
was
same.
great.
I say it on the same par as
I don't
Boulevard. Boulevard's another big beer, a big hallmark of Kansas City beer production. I just another one that it's all bland.
I
Yeah.
think.
Remember early Toxic? Like they used the same strain of everything. That's why I feel like Surly does. They use like the same yeast in every beer,
Oh, okay.
the same malt. Like you're
Bring it.
You're lining up. I would rather use my space when I'm driving. I could, but when I'm flying and I'm limited, I'm not going to waste it.
Okay, at some point, bring it
Potentially.
and let us judge it.
Or Chuggalos in Minnesota. Send
Let
it.
us know.
Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Surly.
I'll give you my address.
Send it. Take
I'll
one
even
of
pay
your,
for the shipping.
Yeah, maybe some of the out of work, unionized non-workers.
And I will say by far,
some
by
down.
production, it destroys all the other breweries that I've ever mentioned in Minnesota. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not
not
close.
close. Well, good for Surly.
Yeah.
But I mean,
did
something's
it.
got to be there. If they produce that much, it means that it's being consumed. I mean, it's got to be a full business cycle.
Yeah.
And if that means people are consuming it, then I would like to at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Something's right.
I'm sure there's many websites where you guys could go and order it. They won't get my money though.
No, Ohio is not allowing alcohol shipping anymore.
Really
Tavor is shut down in Ohio.
interesting.
You
They had
didn't
an
know that?
office in Columbus. I didn't.
Yeah, Tavor will no longer ship to Ohio. Wow. Cannot get beer shipped anymore.
It's destroyed.
That's big news. I didn't even think to say it.
That is big.
I mean,
The guy that's
we're a pretty Ohio-centric podcast.
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, you can't get. So if you want to get Tavor, you're gonna have to get it to your cabin or your
Well, that's what I did last.
out-of-state.
That's what I
friends
did
and
last
stuff.
order.
Yeah,
Almost a year ago.
Big
on that,
news.
Because
Big
that was my
news.
November
Why?
shipment.
What's the logic behind
I
it?
don't know.
What in the world would?
You know, I'm gonna
Would
look
be
it up while you
beneficial.
give your news. I'm gonna figure out why
Yeah.
this is happening.
I'll talk about mine briefly. Mine's very short. Over this past week, I've been lucky enough to visit D20 a couple of times, and I've been really happy drinking Green Flash Brewing Company West
yeah.
Coast IPA.
Yep.
They're WIPA. I'm getting more and more into
Dynamite.
these as you've kind of turned that on, and it's something that I never really explored that much. And now I'm really beginning to dive into them more, so I can really distinguish and then see if it's just labeling. You know, does a New England IPA taste just like a West Coast IPA? I'm finding that there's like more and more common notes amongst them than there are differences, honestly. But the West Coast IPA from Green Flash, I love it. It's a little bit piney. It's a little bit dank. But then there's also a little bit of a fruitiness to it. So they do it using Simcoe, Centennial, and Columbus hops, as well as Citra and Cascade. So those are all like
hallmarks.
Those are all standard lineup, right? Mm-hmm. For a West Coast.
Not as familiar with Columbus, but the other four.
So it says Columbus. They use Columbus for pungency.
Pungent.
Columbus hops apparently very pungent.
Yeah. So I mean, the time that we were in Columbus, I felt like somebody almost got a pungent to the face.
Yes.
If you guys recall that. When I say OH.
Oh, yeah.
A pungent to the face.
A pungent to the face. So this is a Tavor-specific thing, and I can't find out why.
Okay.
It's not all...
But they have a Columbus office.
You can still get shipments.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have this information for you next episode, Chuggalos.
There's a couple of other beer services that people are trying to turn me on to. But I've had so much inertia with Tavor, so that's why.
They've got a good app.
So 2 more big breweries that we've heard about are shutting down their tasting, or going to keep their tasting rooms closed till early 2021. Both Sierra Nevada and New Glarus have said we're not opening until well into the next year, well being early, Q1 for the calendar year. So these are 2 rather large. Sierra Nevada is bi-coastal, and New Glarus being the largest single producer in Wisconsin. I believe I have that right still. So both of them say that they're staying closed. So good news in the respect that they're still going to produce, but their tasting rooms where, we talked about places like Warped Wing, where a significant part of their business percentage came from their tasting room. But these... especially with Sierra Nevada being bi-coastal, I can't think that a significant percentage comes from their tasting room.
I don't know. I mean,
you've been to the Mecca.
The one in Asheville is just
excuse me.
It's overwhelming when you drive up to it. It's so big. It's a monstrous facility, and it's done to the nines. Like, they spared no expense on this place.
Right.
And we got there as soon as it opened, and we had a flight or 2 of beers. And that was it. We were there for probably 2 hours, and by the time we were leaving, so if it opened at 11, we were leaving at 1. The parking lot, which is a parking lot similar to our building at work, was just absolutely packed, and people were pouring in, and people were just everywhere. So,
2,000 parking spaces.
Yeah, I mean,
that's good. I like good parking.
It's tough to imagine that place has been shut. It will be, by the time it opens, it will have been shuttered for over 365 days. That's tough to imagine. That's got to be a bitter pill to swallow as a business owner.
Yeah, so that was those were my 2 pieces of beer news. Both, well, I guess I had the Sierra Nevada bi-coastal. Everything else is upper Midwest. But JT, you said you had something to bridge us.
I got some bridge news. First of all, something's going on with Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. But apparently he likes some nasty stuff in the bedroom.
He likes Kinslager?
He likes Kinslager.
In the bedroom.
Odell
Beckham
Jr. likes Kinslager in the bedroom. But that ties me to Cleveland, and now Cleveland ties me to Platform, who've made a new beer. It's called Muni Hazy Session IPA. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Browns games, but they...
we went to 3 last year.
Yeah, but they...
the mistake by the way.
The Muni lot or whatever is the tailgate lot, the big tailgate lot there.
Uh-huh.
And so this beer is called the Muni Hazy IPA, and it's a session, so it's only 4.9%. So, because I was like, you make a tailgate beer, so this is specifically for Browns fans. It's a brown can and everything, and I was like, you make a IPA for tailgating, and people they're gonna die.
Right.
Browns fans for sure are gonna die, but no, it's a session, so it's low, 4.9%.
So we'd have to talk to Chuck on that.
You
know. Chuck's an IPA guy and a Browns fan.
Yeah, he should probably be drinking one of those right now.
Yeah, so this is a grapefruity beer, 4.9%. Oh no, you got grapefruit, pineapple, and lemon. IPA, session IPA.
Interesting.
So there's that. Now, that's a good segue. Told you I had a segue.
Oh man.
Not the scooter.
I was going to say he's actually
Not the
he's
scooter.
pulling up on a Segway.
But I
really
got
hoping.
platform beer as our first beer of the day. This
That's a solid
will
Segway.
hopefully bring Chris into the fall.
Oh,
without
wow.
Giving him something he doesn't want.
By giving him something he doesn't want.
By not giving him something he doesn't, because I know he doesn't like the pumpkin. But perhaps he doesn't like any of these fall spices. This is candied pecan yammy sweet potato beer. Yeah, with sweet potato. Nutty caramelized fall spiced.
That's something with pumpkin beers a lot. And
I won't be offended if you guys hate it.
I hope to do...
You guys ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I hope to do next time it's mine, is because pumpkins aren't as prevalent as needed for like all the Marzens and everything, so they go with yams, and they substitute that for the pumpkin-y flavor.
Yeah,
so you'll see yams a lot more common.
I've been seeing that a little bit more lately.
Oh, I can't wait for Cobra's thoughts on this one. I can taste it. I go, because you've done this for almost going into 3 years with, you get a taste of flavorings, or you get familiarized with other people's palates.
Yeah, we know each other.
Jesus Christ.
So I will preface this beer, and don't hold back just because I say this, but this Caterade picked this beer out.
Oh, jeez.
She was like,
get the
"Hey,
license plate of that bus that you just threw your
this."
wife
Yeah,
under the
hell
bus.
yeah, I did. She said, "Let me get this for the podcast," and I was like, "All right, yeah, that sounds pretty good." So I did agree to it, obviously, but because I was looking for more can arty stuff, and Platform's not known for their can art.
Nope.
But I said, you know what? I don't know. We had a yam beer last year, I believe, on the podcast, but it wasn't memorable. And this one probably won't be memorable either, but we'll see. We'll see.
Has a yam beer ever been memorable to anyone?
This is such a great, I've got a cellar full of yam
Yeah,
beers.
exactly. No one's waiting for Yam Day at a fucking brewery.
No one's waiting for yam day.
That's a good idea, Yam Day. There are definitely people who would celebrate that.
Just yams.
I mean, think about the shit people celebrate in the beer community. Yam Day? That's big.
Why did she want this on the podcast? Did she give
fall.
you any reasoning? That was it. It was just...
Well,
I mean, there's a...
I think it looked good to her.
Okay. I'm curious if she
I
gave
think
you an additional reason.
I think purely it looked good to her.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, at the stores, I imagine there's a lot of fall beer. I haven't been to the beer store recently.
I think there's a fair amount.
I would suspect, we're full on, Old Navy's pushing denim right now.
Oh, yeah.
Back to school supplies, and then, PSLs. And so everything is full on fall, right?
Yeah.
So at your local stores, you should see an abundance of these beers, a huge variety. I would just recommend you walk right past that fucking aisle and keep shopping, because I don't like these. I just don't like them.
Fine.
This is gross. This gets,
I was like, fine.
This gets a 2.0. It's just not good. I can't find any redeemable quality about this beer. I can taste booze in it, which doesn't speak well considering it lists off like 30 fucking ingredients.
Yeah, they do.
I can't taste any of those, but I can taste the booze. Yuck. It's got a weird taste. This tastes like medicine.
Okay.
Like it's got a medicine-y taste and finish to it, and that's not pleasing. Sorry, Katie.
She's not offended.
I know she's not offended.
It'll be okay.
But still, that's just brutal honesty.
Yeah.
It is not good. It's not a pour out. I will drink this beer.
2.0? Yeah, that could be if you wanted it to.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be.
So I got really excited. So I was in a work meeting last Friday, and my boss wanted to end the work meeting so he could go have a beer. And he goes, I'm going to go crack a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. And I was like, I hadn't had, and it's late for me. It's September 8th as we record this now. Usually I'll have my first October Marzen pumpkin flavored beer sometime in August. So I waited a couple of weeks just because the fridge has been well stocked. And so that first Sam Adams Oktoberfest was awesome. And with the fact that this weekend it was cool in the morning, like down in the 50s, opening up every window in the house and letting things air out. It's been awesome. So with the season and the leaves changing with the palate, you say it tastes like medicine. I think it tastes like makeup.
Makeup. I've never tasted makeup.
I know. So I know I'm going to get JT level grief here, and I deserve it.
Why would you get grief?
Who eats makeup?
So when your smell, your olfactory is connected to your taste. It's all kind of one.
It's all one thing.
Yeah. So it's a
unit.
Not the smell, because the smell smells like a beer. Like it's not too different from like a Pilsner or a lager. But this tastes like concealer or whatever like that, because there's always a cloud when girls put that shit on.
So you smell it.
I feel like I'm walking through it when I'm tasting this beer. I do get the pecans though, so that's the redeeming factor. I wish I got more Oktoberfest to it. I guess, the candied is there. Good thing it has booze in it still, I guess. Off the top rope, 275. It's interesting. I think it's ambitious, but
it's ambitious.
You tried to leg out a triple and you got tagged out.
Ooh, got tagged out. Here's the can. Not going to be much to talk about, but there's some stuff.
Yeah.
This is the Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Dave. Thanks, Dave. It's basically got some unpeeled yams and some pecans on it, as if the top stripe of the typical platform design was a floor.
I thought those were
yams
radishes.
And pecans are sitting on the floor.
Radishes are so good. Just keeping a bowl of radishes in the fridge.
I'd rather have radishes.
Oh.
Radish beer. That's going to be the next thing.
You guys are like railing on this yam beer, and come on, yams are fucking awesome.
I like yams.
Yeah, and you guys are like, I'm going to eat radishes like it's candy.
I don't
care. I keep a bowl of them next to my bed, and I eat them like candy. They're fucking weird, man.
I got some radishes
weird.
And I don't care for yams.
I love yams. Yams are great. Yams on their own I like, but there's ways to prepare a yam that makes it even, better. Brown sugar, butter. You can even make up sweet potato pie, or you can make that thing that people make on Thanksgiving with the marshmallows on top. What's that called?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet potato casserole, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I thought it had a name.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk.
No, I thought there was a name to it. That's what
I thought you were trying to stop me for a minute.
There's two things. I don't have the strong opinions that they have about Oktoberfest beer, but I don't understand this whole spice thing. There's Christmas beer has this spice, and fall beer has a spice. If you get rid of that, I think you have a winner on both ends, Christmas and fall.
Maybe it's the
that's
spice.
just my opinion. I don't get the spice thing.
It.
When I think of fall, I don't think of a spice. I think of, I don't know, flavor-wise, sweet potato, sure, but not a spice. I don't put fucking weird spices in my sweet potatoes. This has a mixture of both. Remember we talked about cloves, like a clove.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Taste, and what are the things that you stick in a ham when you cook it?
Those are cloves.
Those are cloves too.
Yeah.
So cloves. This doesn't taste of cloves.
Just cloves.
But it's like
nailing the clove.
Like both that smoky clove and the clove from the ham, and I don't like that clove flavor. But I don't think that this is as bad of a beer as you guys are making it out to be. I think it is sweet. You can taste the sugar, which I think is the candy pecan part.
I sure hope it's that, not sweet tarts or.
Well, it could just be like they threw a bunch of lactose in here. But I think what they did was maybe they did throw brown sugar, which is on the can, and they threw pecans in there, and they're combining to make what could be a reminder of candied pecans, which are delicious.
Candied pecans are good.
They're fucking awesome.
Pecans
Sometimes
are
you
good
can get them at a ball game. You can get the warm bag of candied pecans. They're amazing.
He wouldn't be allowed to go back home to where he's from if he said boo candied pecans.
Oh yeah.
They would
pecan pie is really popular there, right?
Yeah, that's all they live on.
And when I was in Afghanistan, we got pecan pie once a week.
Yep.
And we fucking lived for that day.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Except one time I overdid it and I got food poisoning.
Ooh.
And it turned me. Once you get food poisoning from a certain food,
it's turned off.
It's turned off.
Yeah, it's gone.
I'm back on it, back to pecan pie.
But it took a decade.
It took a long time to recover.
Gardettos were that for me.
You would hit.
Oh,
I would just
Gardettos,
hear
really?
it. People would be like pecan. Just the name pecan pie would
Dry heat.
trigger that.
Interesting. I haven't had that experience. I know the experience because I've had it from the hangover version of that
Yes.
with tequila. But I'm back on. I can drink tequila now.
Good.
Oh, well, excellent. I've got some tequila over there. Let's prove this.
But
That's the next podcast.
food-wise,
the
I
keto
haven't. Yeah.
podcast after
Oh
the-
yeah, we'll do
after the
tequila.
brew.
I don't
crew.
think we're qualified.
I've got some mezcal upstairs, too, if you guys haven't had mezcal.
Nope, I don't even know what that is.
Yep.
Goodness. Smoky.
But I think it's not that bad of a beer. I'm not going into the 2s, but I'm pretty damn close with 3.0. I think the only thing wrong with this beer is the spice. You get rid of that, and I think you have a nice sweet Thanksgiving-like sweet potato with the marshmallows on top type of beer.
What's frustrating for me is that we're entering my favorite part of the calendar year.
Yeah.
This is it. From September on to the end of the calendar year is my favorite time of a calendar. And I also equally love beer. And I wish the themed
they
beer
matched.
that went with my favorite time of the calendar
Yeah.
synced up. Apparently it does for everyone else, but just,
No. I don't think that's true.
And I think you're right though. I think it's the spices.
It's
I think
the
the
spices.
spices in the pumpkin beers, the spices in the Christmas beers
Yeah.
are what kills it.
It's what kills it.
You
I
know.
think that these beers
Leave
have-
eggnog.
You can taste.
Leave eggnog to do that.
Don't put spices in eggnog either.
Eggnog's fine. Eggnog it's a better vehicle for spice than beer is.
Fair enough. I like this beer 3.0. I think it could be better if you take out the spice. It's more of a dessert beer if you do that, and that's fine. That's it. 3.0.
That's awesome.
Let me finish this.
Killing it. Do you have a sweet segue like you did into this beer for the
wish I
next
did.
one?
Yes.
Get on your Segway and ride it to the fridge and get another beer.
Let me think.
This is gross.
When you have a molecule that's unstable, what happens?
Splits.
I don't know that it splits.
Decays.
It
Gets
loses
wobbly.
Its,
Loses its
and
protons.
neutrons,
And neutrinos.
and it becomes something else.
No,
right?
it gives out electrons.
Yeah, it releases something.
Makes it rain electrons.
Yes.
I don't know. But that is my segue.
Nailed it. I'd give that segue a 5.0. And we haven't had one of those in a while.
I just wanted to go over what happens when you have an unstable molecule.
Is that a
Because
B&B?
this beer-
That's a
this
B&B.
beer is
Oh,
called
boy. I
unstable
can tell.
molecule.
Oh boy.
Now, I will admit that I have not been, of all the things I'm impressed by at Branch and Bone, I have yet to be like blown away by their IPAs. I liked them. I mean, they're at like the high 3s, low 4s. But I haven't been like, holy shit, I'm going there for the IPA. I'm going there for the sours. Well, this is an IPA.
Just like he goes to Crooked Handle for the sours.
Yeah. Yep. I re-listened to that segment. Well,
That's
what am I going to do, you know?
That story came up this weekend.
Did it? Mm-hmm. God, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you talk about my faults and not my strengths.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was funny in the moment.
That's why I thought it was funny. That's
Yeah.
a strength, to be funny.
That's
Yes.
true. It is. It is my biggest strength. I am hilarious. Unstable Molecule by Branch and Bone.
Segway.
Segue,
Nailed it.
There it is. So unstable molecules, they lose, and they attach their protons and neutrons to other molecules, right? And they become something else.
They're protons and electrons. They keep their neutron.
Protons, protractors.
Yeah. The electron is what makes the covalent bond.
Okay. I wanted you guys to clarify a lot of that. Let's open this up,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about Branch and Bone a little, which is done before.
Let me sheath. Okay.
Yeah. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I could get my finger under
Nice
that one.
crack.
I know.
That was a
That's-
perfect crack.
I love when they give you that little bit of wiggle room to work with on the old.
So there's
can
not
opener.
much information on this beer, but it definitely has a crafty taste. I'll start there. I'm going to look it up and figure out what the hops are and everything. But Branch and Bone, as if you're a listener of this podcast for more than a couple episodes, you'll know that Branch and Bone is a Dayton brewery. Very popular amongst three of us. And
You
many-
could call this the Branch and Bone podcast.
You could probably call some of the episodes.
on a few episodes.
Sorry, Stacey.
So, I found this in stores. and that's significant because Branch and Bone hasn't been getting too much retail distribution, but now, I mean, they're getting a lot. I think before they were getting a little bit, like someone from the brewery was just hand delivering, I think, to a few Beaver Creek places.
So I learned a lot about distribution. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to take a side page.
Let's do it. You do that, I'll find out what kind of hops are in this beer.
So hopefully it buys you some time. So distribution, so for a couple of places like DBC, so it makes me hate Ohio beer distribution and the fucking gangster methods that they use. So let's say we create a brewery and we make Ohio style.
Yes, Ohio style brewery.
If we sell it, so it's just beer. It's not malt liquor or anything like that. So when you make a contract with a distributor, the contract is for life. The distributor has all of the rights. So
all of the rights to what? The beer? The recipe?
No, not to
life.
To children to distributing it. Let's say we start up the BCP beer brand, and we create Ohio style beer. Mm-hmm. So the distributor gets to pick where it's shelved.
They get to choose.
Yeah, they get to choose.
Ooh,
because
they've got the connections.
Because they've got the connections and they've got the incentive to make money. So if you go with a distributor, hypothetically, that has Miller Lite, are they going to put your beer? Are they giving up some of that 8-foot space that Miller Lite has on shelf? Yeah. No, because Miller Lite has that inherent, it's hard to get a foothold in their business. So DBC, and I'm not talking too much out of turn from this, so when we go visit them, they'll hopefully be able to educate us. DBC was in a terrible relationship with a distributor. Yep. So that's why you never saw them in the stores.
Never saw them.
Saw them. And they had a lifetime contract, again, because your contract is one-sided.
So DBC died?
So...
Did they fake their death?
So DBC got kicked out by the distributor because they're like, well, your beer never sells. Well, it's never in the stores, or it's just one little offshoot place where it's not going to be in eyesight. And at that point, people weren't going to the bars to buy, or weren't going to the stores to buy DBC.
Yep.
They were just getting it from the place. So they got kicked out by the distribution gangster, and they started self-distributing. Yeah. So now DBC has two dudes, two, that drive around to the store and do it.
Yeah, you have beer reps.
Yep. So they have their own personal internal reps that drive around to the stores, and then they negotiate with the store directly instead of having a middleman, if you will.
So I'll speak a little bit to the industry as well, just strictly through observation of sitting at D20 at the time that I sit there, which is right around now, which is not a very busy time at the bar.
No.
It's very slow, and that's when all the beer distributors come in, all the beer reps come in.
That's when you're learning,
and they're hawking their ales. They're literally there to try to get their beer in the door. So I know a handful of the beer reps from some of the more regulars that they have there. But yeah, so Branch and Bone has their own guy, their own van that goes around, and his job all day is to go to bars and to go to stores and try their damnedest to get Branch and Bone in there.
No shit.
But he's familiar with the wares.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to hawk your stuff, and please don't take that hawking in a derogatory term.
Selling your goods.
Because you're familiar with it, you're in bed, that's where your bread is buttered. But if I sell it to you as the distributor and it's JT's distributing, you don't care. All you care about is what you can sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have an intimate relationship with BCP Ohio style beer. You have a intimate relationship with, if you had Miller Lite and whatever you can move the most product of.
Yeah.
So you can bring your shit in hand trucks.
Yeah, but it's in everyone's best interest to sell the beer.
Right.
So that kind of lands on the distributor's plate. That's their job, is to sell the beer, to distribute the beer.
Right.
So it's in their best business. If they're going to enter into a contract, then they should enter into it with good faith that they're going to distribute the beer and push and hawk the beer, right?
Yeah.
You've got to... that side has to...
It's a two-way street.
It is.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
It's a business agreement that everyone should live up to.
So in Ohio, and apologies for the external Ohio listeners, there's 2 beer warehouses in Ohio.
Yeah.
One's in Cincinnati and one's in Cleveland.
Beer houses.
Yeah, beer houses. So let's say
I don't know if that's true.
I'm here and I'm trying to sell you my beer.
Yeah.
I still have to drive down to Cincinnati, get weighed, and then drive back.
No shit.
And then that's how I distribute. So then
That's
the state,
no matter what?
because the state still needs to get their piece.
Yeah, the
Because
state-
that's why like Heidelberg and
Well,
Bob
we might
Wright
be
and whatever.
fucking branch and bone by talking about this then.
No, because we haven't mentioned it. Well, he did a little bit about Branch and Bone, but I'm just talking nebulously about some of the relationships
Okay.
that have to happen.
Yeah.
But DBC now self-distributes and are much better, and they're much more
Every-
distributed in the area.
Yeah,
Craft
yeah,
beer
they're everywhere now.
self-distributes,
Yeah.
I mean,
DBC is definitely, they've got reach now.
Yeah.
At Branch and Bone. So this was that. So Hall, we talk about Hall's Corner a lot on this podcast. That guy loves beer and loves his customers. The version of that
I need to go there.
in my town is Shell, the Shell gas station with the crispy crunchy chicken. There's one guy. His full-time job is to stock beer at this Shell,
That's
and it's
great.
not a huge beer section.
What a
Yeah.
great
But
job.
he knows the beer and he knows the customers. And we come
Yeah.
in and he knows my wife, he knows me. He says, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And he said, "Branch and Bone, we just got it." And it was buried because he was still stocking it. And he's I can't keep that shit on the shelves.
You have a beer sommelier at your crispy crunchy
Yeah.
chicken gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a Cicerone.
This gas station, by the
Cicerone,
way,
whatever.
is
yeah,
like
at a gas station.
the gas station.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna build a gas station, model it after this Shell.
And that's the interesting thing. So when I've bought beer locally, it's typically from Kroger. Their beer rep has changed over. Now the Kroger beer rep, not the individual distributors that come in, but the Kroger beer rep has changed so many times. The original, so it was a gal named Amanda. And I said, I would really like, and this was years before the podcast, I go, I'd really like Sculpin Habanero. Next week it was fucking
No
there.
shit.
And she goes, now I can't keep it on the shelves. Now I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but that position has rotated so
Yeah.
many times.
I
I don't know who does it now.
I don't want to take away from the Kroger guy. He also is a regular beer guy. The Kroger by my house.
Yeah, this is Kroger Beaver Creek. So.
The Kroger in Kettering, that guy's so nice. He's always asking me how I'm doing. And I'm just like, I'm good. Thanks, man. But he's always there.
Never
Not
asked
to
JT
take
how
away
he's
from
doing.
him. Not to take away from him, but the guy at Shell and the guy at Hall's Corner, I mean, these guys are like concierge of beer.
They're on it.
They know their shit. So anyway, he was telling me, got Branch and Bone, and he hasn't been able to keep it in stock. He couldn't believe it. But they wrote
Probably
the
because of the
UPC
podcast.
code, you know those little 4-pack plastic things? They wrote it on there. So I hope we're not fucking over Branch and Bone by talking about this distribution thing. Because
I don't-
clearly
I don't
there
know
was
what
no
you're talking
UPC
about.
code.
I'm not even smart enough to realize how
And
we would fuck them.
I mean, there's taxes being paid somewhere, a sales tax, right? But
Yeah.
there's no scan or anything. They're just plugging in numbers on the computer.
Oh, they don't have it entered in their
They don't
POS
have it
system.
in a system.
This is something that upsets me about Kroger. I've pulled multiple 4-packs and 6-packs off the shelf. And, you know, Kroger, it's the little metal visual podcast. It's a little metal, and it will tell you the price point, and it'll have a little UPC code. So you think it's got a UPC code. So when I, as the customer, take that, and they're like, oh, fuck, it's not in the system. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, can you just charge me, I don't care, $15
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever for it? Because they have some bottles at Kroger that are, I don't care, it's just, I'm really interested in that beer. And they're like, it's not in our system. And then they do the death move where they put it underneath. And then I never fucking see it because it's not in their POS system.
Oh.
And I know that's redundant. Don't give me ATM machine and all that crap. Yeah, so it's not in their POS.
I don't
And they're
think,
a POS.
I don't think any craft brewer is doing anything under the table.
No, they're not doing it under the
skirting-
table, but the weighing thing threw me off because I don't know that Branch and Bone is driving down to Cincinnati.
Well, they very well
And
may
they come
be.
in. Maybe they are. And I have no idea.
They may-
Getting
So
weighed.
I'm not consciously
Yeah.
diming them out or anything. I just don't know that what they're doing.
Maybe that.
But
only
I know
applies,
that this-
maybe that only applies to businesses
Yeah.
that produce, X
Yeah,
amount,
certain
X amount
amount.
of gallons of
Maybe.
product or whatever. I mean,
Maybe.
there's
That's
probably
true.
cutoffs.
That's true. So if anything,
There's a lot of work.
everything's
that
over the table.
There's a lot of work that's put in by these companies to make sure that you get a high quality product, both in the ingredients, the distribution, and then all the hoops that they have to jump through to actually get it to the store shelves where you buy your beer and you don't have to go to like a one-off. like this beer is available not just at the shell with the crispy, crunchy chicken. Just the fact that all of this work and thought is put into, bringing you the highest quality product.
Oh, they're humping it. They're humping it to make
crazy.
They're humping it to bring you good beer. So I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. I had this beer this weekend.
Oh, you did?
Oh, that's why. Yeah, he was like, you were choking up, and I was like, man, So I'm excited.
We equally found the beer this weekend at DLM. We did a.
They're at DLM too. That's great. I'm really happy for Branch and Bone.
Yeah. Oh, they got into DLM. They've done. Branch and Bone has had Branch and Bone takeovers at DLM.
No shit.
The one in Centerville.
Okay, Centerville. All right.
Yeah, the one right across from that library.
Dorothy Lane Market for the.
Dorothy Lane Market.
It's like
there's like 3 of them.
Trader Joe's. It's like an upscale grocery store.
If you're the Illinois crowd, it's like Mariano's.
Yeah.
It's an upscale grocery store.
Been to Mariano's? I've never been to Dorothy Lane Market. I've been to Mariano's.
It's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
Mariano's and Dorothy Lane will both cook your lunch for you from the butcher, and you can get beer on tap.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So a boutique grocery store?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
boutique
much.
grocery store.
It's a great place. We went there to get some. We did a charcuterie night on Saturday.
Oh, very good.
And we thought we would have a good beer with the charcuterie, and it was this. And it was a good choice. And you had a good choice. This gets 4.5 from me.
Wow.
I love it. It just says that it's an IPA.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now it is. I didn't find the hops, but I did find that they're advertising it online as a New England.
It beat me to the punch.
Okay,
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yep. Just wanted to get that out there.
It tastes like a New England. It's right there. It's got all the qualities. Mm-hmm. It's fruity. It's once again juicy, but everything is well balanced. It's very well done. It's what you would expect it's what you would expect Branch and Bone would do.
Yeah.
We hold them at such a high bar.
We do.
It's
whether fair or not.
Whether it's fair. Well, it is fair because it's earned.
Yeah,
it's earned. They've earned that high bar, and now they have to maintain it. And the crazy thing is that they continue to maintain it.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. It's not that they set the bar high.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they reach it over and over and over. It's just supreme quality, man. It's 4.5. It's not a 5.0 because it doesn't blow my doors off. It is a really, really good IPA. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it so much. I loved it this weekend. I'm really happy that you got it for the podcast. And I'm really glad that I actually forgot that I had the beer because I talked about the West Coast IPA that I had this past week. But I went right over this one.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that you brought it to the podcast.
Commonly or recently we've had a run of talking about WIPAs versus NIEPAs. Mm-hmm. So West Coast versus New England. We haven't brought in the third big set of IPAs, which I know we've had scores of, and that's American. And in my mind, that's an amalgamation between the two. That's the bridge, or
that's what I'm trying to find.
The bastardization, yeah.
Maybe
there's a lot of.
I'm trying to figure out if people are just using strictly labels and names.
Yeah.
Or if they're adhering to certain recipes.
I think in the pour, because we're not ones to dirty glasses, right? We'll drink it right from the receptacle. That's a fair assessment. Like if they bring it out, I'm just drinking it from that. I'm not, and I'm ruining some of the notes or whatever, but I'll just drink it from whatever you bring it to me. And if you offer me a glass, I'll just say take the glass. To me, a WIPA in a New England, I can see through a WIPA. I can't necessarily always see through a
hazy,
New England. So the hazy versus the clear. So I don't know if I've ever seen a fresh, opaque WIPA, but so that's just a thought, visual. 9 times out of 10, we're drinking from this.
Yep.
So off the top rope, I also came in at a 4.5. How I can just best describe this is fruity, floral, and this is actually sweeter to me than this beer. More effectively sweeter.
Yes.
More effectively sweeter. I almost got destroyed there, and rightly so. Because it pairs well, and I don't want to take anything away from this. Everything is here for a reason, and you nailed it, Cobra, with what you said. There is thought and craft and skill that is put into Branch and Bone beers, and I feel like you can taste it.
Yeah.
I am not one to orally jerk people off, but again, I feel that they care. They're not worried about like the profit margins or bottom lines or anything like that.
I don't think
They just want to put out a quality product, and you can taste it. And BCP, you guys all have those brewers that, they may not have heard of them from 30 or 45 minutes away, but they give a shit. And they give you the time of day. If you've listened to the episode where my esteemed colleagues went and talked to Landon at Branch and Bone, he cares.
Yeah.
And he knows how to have a good time. So
does.
when that marriage happens, that you care and you know how to have a good time, it's taste in the product. So off the top rope, 4.5.
And we'll go back and we'll talk to Landon again. Maybe we'll talk to some of the brewers too. They're active on social media.
Yeah, I got to speak to him
guys.
on Dimmer Day.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, for a few minutes.
I mean, Landon is perfect. If we only get Landon, that's a huge thing. That's not like an only got Landon. That's like a huge
Landon,
deal.
if you're single, JT says
But
you're
I'm
perfect.
saying maybe we can get a couple more of the employees. They're pretty active. Okay. So Matt did do mouth service to Branch and Bone.
Mouth service.
But it's warranted, I think.
And I'm not even the biggest.
I'm still thinking through the spirit. There's a lot going on.
I would say that you guys are bigger fanboys than me, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with your assessment.
Probably, yeah. So
And
I
I've
wish
only got to
they would have put
experience it
New
once.
England on this can, only because I think they did what other brewers are moving away from. They went dank. This beer is far hoppier than a lot of New England IPAs are currently. I think a lot of New England IPAs are moving towards that, like when served cold, it's juicy. And the juiciness is a flavor now, more than the hops. This one is all hops. There's no mistake in this beer, and I wish I could find what kind of hops are in this beer, because they're very prevalent, very strong. I think there's a lot. This is like old school in a sense. It's kind of a throwback. A lot of the New England IPAs we have are just like muted. They're muted, but high alcohol. They're like 7 or 8%. Not a huge amount of hop taking over your flavor taste buds. This one is 7%, and it is taking over your taste buds. I mean, it's pretty dank. I don't know if you guys tasted the same thing.
Yeah, I did not.
You didn't.
I'm in complete disagreement.
I don't
with you.
feel like there's juiciness at all, but it doesn't have to be.
So I know like dankness comes from alpha acids, and I don't think
It's very hoppy. You guys don't taste that.
I would
Wow.
I would say that the hoppiest or dankest New England IPA that I've had is Boom Sauce, hands down. Lord Hobo Boom Sauce is dank, but it's also equally juicy.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not trashing this beer.
No. I'm not saying you're
Yeah.
trashing the beer, but I'm 100. I'm like a 180 on you with this. Honestly,
and it's interesting because it's doing different things for different. And
Yeah.
I know you're going to rate this beer high. I can just tell my spider senses are tingling. But again, what was it? 3 episodes
Fuck it,
ago.
1.0.
Where we
I'm just kidding. It's
no,
not a 1.0.
well, yeah, it was hilarious that we were super low on the first beer, but you came in at a 3, which was only 2.5 higher than me. But
But I mean, that's 3.0 is a good score.
3 episodes ago, we argued around the toilet bowl. We were all 4.5 on a beer,
yeah.
and why it was a 4.5. We had 18 minutes of that, just arguing like.
Yeah, like
Why-
we were
why we
arguing-
liked it. We were trying to put words
we're
into each
arguing
other's
against
mouth.
each other. I'm
It's
not at a
comedic.
4.5 with this one. You guys are. I'm at a 4.0. I like it. I think it's great. I just think, God, I tossed around the score for a long time because it seems to me like a throwback, and you guys aren't tasting it. It's hoppier than most New England IPAs. I think they did that on purpose. I think they're sick of all the bullshit. These Branch and Bone guys, I think they know beer better than a lot of people that know beer. And I think they went with a hoppier, more dank beer. This the taste I'm getting. And that's what they wanted. I think it's good. 4.0.
They definitely know beer.
Yeah, they know beer.
They definitely, I think that they'll...
I've had better IPAs at Branch and Bone.
I've had a handful of their IPAs. Yeah, they're fine. I like this one more than any of the others.
Okay.
But I think that they're willing to pour out product if they're not happy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah,
They're not going to be like
a pour out beer. This is a good beer.
No, I'm saying like if they brew a fucking vat and they're like, you know what?
They'll take the momentary loss for all
Right,
the
no,
time.
I get what you're saying.
We're
I'm
not
saying
gonna
this
push
isn't a
this.
beer that you'd brew and be like, fuck this beer. It sucks and people are going to hate it.
No, absolutely not.
It's a good beer. I mean, 4.0 is a good score. 4.5 is a great score. But I've had better IPAs from Branch and Bone specifically. That's it.
And
That's
I
what
like
I-
what you're doing. It's like what I've done with different breweries. You hold Branch and Bone. You take them.
They
out
have
of
their
the
own
pool.
score.
They have their own
Yeah,
score,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks because their beers are far, above many breweries that we review on this podcast. Branch and Bone blows them away on every beer, but they get their own score.
We all have
I
those.
disagree with that. They have to be measured amongst their peers. Amongst the beers. The beers and
the
peers.
Amongst the beers. Yeah, well, this I still would put this at a 4.5. Or 4.0. Not 4.5. 4.0. It's because I was thinking about your two guys' scores.
Did your voice
4.0.
crack as you did that too? I
Did
put
it?
this among this 5.
Maybe it did.
People make fun of me all the time because it still happens. Like, oh, puberty, huh? I go, oh,
God, I wish I was
those
that
times.
young.
Yeah. Are you getting to that point in life?
Yeah.
Were
Things
you
hurt
wish
now.
you were that young?
Things hurt. I get up in the morning and things crack and pop and I'm old and my joints hurt.
My 20s were.
Like fucking joints. Like what the fuck?
I appreciate knowing what I know now.
Oh, knowledge wise, brain wise, I'm happy where I'm at.
I've learned
But
so much in
like
my life.
body wise, I wish I was younger. Mind wise, I love where I'm at. I know a lot. I've learned so much.
Body-wise, I've just accepted the fact that this is where I
I'm
am.
just in pain all the time.
No, I'm not in
No,
pain all
I
the
am.
time.
I'm always in pain.
That sounds terrible. You should see a doctor.
I do. I see many
You
doctors.
shouldn't be in pain all the time.
You know all those times that you wear those male adult diapers.
Yeah,
You.
rheumatoid
Yeah.
arthritis.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's arthritis in there. There's nothing I can do.
Damn.
I-
Really?
I think a lot of it is just mind over matter, just being like,
That's where I'm at. I just wake up, I hurt, and I go, fuck it.
The only thing I notice every morning is my ankles make pop, like,
Yeah.
and then I'm good to go. Like
You
when
guys
I get
wake
out of
up
bed,
and you hurt? You wake up and you hurt?
Yeah.
Really?
You don't wake up and hurt? I
No.
wake up and hurt.
are you sleeping on the wrong bed?
Yeah.
Most likely.
Get off that park bench, man. Move it. You've got a nice house. I've been there.
I know. I like
Move
to sleep
inside.
outside. I like to sleep
Crazy.
outside.
I had a question for you guys. So beer gifts.
Beer gifts.
What do you guys? And we've traditionally for our birthdays and occasions we exchange beer. So outside of this group, what do you think about gifting people beer? Are you pushing your style on them, or are you trying to match their style? Have you ever given beer to somebody that's not sitting in this room right now? That's including the police officer, Officer Bush, sitting in the corner. Remember that skit from back in the day?
Yeah.
Officer Bush.
Listen, in the episode 56, 57, Officer Bush was a hilarious skit that we did. But do you guys have feelings on gifting beer?
Yeah, sure. I have feelings on it. I mean, I
Well,
try to
share
gift.
them.
I try to gift the flavor.
So you try to match.
I try to match what the person likes, but within that category, it's what I think is good. I
Okay.
mean, I know you guys like sours.
Yeah.
I'll gift you a sour, but in that category, I like certain things. So I'm gonna give you what I think is the best beer in that category that I could find.
Interesting.
But I know that category. I'm not going to try to give you. I'm not going to try to give Chris like a bourbon barrel stout
Or
that
a
I
pumpkin-
think is good.
Or a pumpkin. Or
I'm
a
going to
pumpkin
give
beer.
him a
Or a pumpkin
sour.
beer.
I'm going to give him a sour that I think is good.
Here you go, Chris. This beer has all the coriander.
I know.
Yeah, coriander.
Just give me coriander.
Okay, so your thoughts, Cobra?
Pretty similar. I gift beer. I try to tailor it to what I know that they would appreciate. But as opposed to giving them the one that I think is the best, I try to give them one that I know for sure that they have not been exposed to.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So if
That's
for instance, my brother-in-law from New Hampshire, he likes IPAs. That's right up his alley. He doesn't venture too far into sours, but he's not opposed. He's got a very open mind to everything.
So he's game for whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's that good dude.
So I'll bring him a few different things, right? But it's all going to be from Ohio or something around here where I support local people, but then I expand kind of his palate as well, right? So
his horizons.
yeah,
Interesting.
So that's the way I approach it.
So I thought about this when I was like generating like what we were going to talk about, and I've done it both ways. Where I've done a complete departure, yes. Where when I gift people, and I've said for the 3 years that going into 3 years that we've done this podcast, I'm too dumb to give books. I'm not going to give you a book.
I've never gifted a book.
I will give you a book in the hopes that I don't get that book ever received, and that's how you should do it with books. I just happen to do it with beer. I've done it both ways. So I guess I try to assimilate who I'm gifting it to. So if it's an individual that has a pretty distinct palate, like I would say I definitely have a pretty distinct palate. So if I was gifting myself, I want to give them something both outside of their normal drink, if you will, but then also like tell them the story of like why I picked it. And I think both of you guys would do this. Like, like you said, I do it, because I support local, and then it's not something that brother-in-law in New Hampshire can get.
Right.
So it's not like you're stopping by the gas station on the way like, oh, fuck, I didn't get, we'll call him Bill NH because he's the brother-in-law in New Hampshire, Bill NH. You're not stopping at the local gas station up there and just getting him a heady topper from Alchemist or something.
Yep.
By the way, that would be a great beer.
That would be, yeah. He would appreciate that.
Yeah, he would, because you've got good taste, and two, you're going for a home run right there. But so it was just an interesting because I've seen it in the last couple of months where people have gifted things and they're like, oh, this is interesting, and they put it off to the side. But like how I can tell that somebody really enjoys what they're like, they talk about it and they're like, oh, we need to have this together, like to share the experience because they're so excited to receive the gift.
That would be a good way to do it. We need to have this together. I gave you a beer recently.
Yeah, and what did I tell you?
But you said it was highly sought after.
I said go to the store.
I specifically bought that beer because it reminded me of you.
Yeah,
because it was a cellar beer. Yeah, it was a beer you put in the cellar,
sitting in the cellar.
And that's the only reason I bought it. Cause I don't know anything about this beer, but it's it specifically said
so you
this
took
is a beer
one
that
piece of information.
that
resonated with the the individual. I just think that when people like blow people out of the water for giving a gift of beer, no, there is typically a lot of thought that is put into why the individual chose that beer.
Yeah, there should be.
So,
I saw the beer and I said, I don't want this beer, but I know someone who would want this beer.
Well, now I don't want to share it with you.
No, I said,
crack it right
this
now.
is definitely a Matt beer.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave it to Matt. I bought it and gave it to Matt. And then come to find out, this is a really... taste. Like, people are looking for this beer.
It is.
Well, there's still like 8 of them at Shell.
What was the beer?
Crispy Crunchy Chicken.
The Jackie O's Cuvée. So
okay.
I'll get it.
I've heard of
Cuvée.
Get it.
Yeah.
I think when you give alcohol as a gift, it's intended to be shared.
Yes.
Between
I would agree there.
Between the recipient and the giver, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should be given.
That's what JT gifted me. Just because it was a random Tuesday, essentially.
Well, yeah, it might have been a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, but So yeah, that's what he gifted me. So, anyways, we're just talking about that this weekend, and I was like, I'm going to bring this up on the podcast because I think there's a lot of like thought and preparation. It's not just picking a random bottle, or like if somebody's looked at your purchase and comments like, oh,
yeah.
Smells
what
like
about receiving? So you've received the gift of beer. Now, I've received the gift of beer that's been
this is organic
real close to my preferences.
Yep.
I like sours. I like cherry. I like a few things that above all else. I do like a lot of things, but those above all else. And there's sometimes I get a beer, like someone gives me a beer as a gift or as like a, hey, I thought of you when I saw this. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
Okay.
This isn't going to be good. I'm not probably going to drink this.
So you like sours and cherry.
Right. Those two flavors, I think, would be above all else.
You're difficult to buy for in that respect, where I'm going to defend, and please share if you're comfortable enough. People could buy you stuff just for can art.
True. And I would appreciate that, too.
It'd be like a Saison.
If people...
And JT's like, oh, this is great can art.
If people were like, wow, this is great can art, I thought of JT, I'm going to buy them this beer. I mean, I'm not going to be like, fuck you, man, this beer is some kind of beer I don't drink. No, I'm going to be like, holy shit, this can art.
You're the resident nice guy.
Yeah, I'll be nice. Why wouldn't you be nice if someone's giving
You're receiving
you a beer? Why would you be a
gift.
piece of shit? You don't
be-
want to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, you want to be
nice.
Grateful.
And I'll be
recipient.
nice. And I'll accept it and I'll drink it and I'll rate it. And I'll be honest about it. But, I have preferences. And if I get a beer that's not within those preferences, it's kind of like, what do? You go like, oh, thanks. Or do you...
Are you talking about the time that I got you the sampler pack of Wild Ohio? Is that what's coming
Yeah, I'm
up
talking
right
about
now?
specifically the time that you got me that
podcast over.
And I was like, Matt, I don't think you know me at all, man.
All gluten free.
Yeah.
Well, because I want your workouts to not be spent on beer, but the delicious food that you choose to eat.
But I also want you to think about another thing. If you're going to a larger gathering,
yeah,
and you're bringing beer that you know is going to be shared.
Ooh.
So I'll just give you my thing. I went to a fantasy football draft. I have a cooler. I put 12 Truths and 12 Bushes. I cut the logo off the boxes and taped them to the cooler, and just said, whatever you want, fucking drink it.
Well, yeah, those two. Okay, yeah.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
If you have an opinion that's different than that, share it.
So
but getting a gift is far different than giving a gift. Because now
getting
you
a
have
gift,
to...
You're just strictly...
Getting a gift...
You have no control over anything.
You don't have control, but... how close is that person to you? Do you be honest with them? Do you not be honest with them? Do you just always act like this is the greatest beer that's ever going to be had? Or what?
Part of my shtick for parties is I'll walk around and hand people specific beers because I try to cater to people's... Mm-hmm. Oh, you would really enjoy this, but it's not going to be the same beer that I give Tom.
Well, of course.
Yep.
You're a unique person.
But I hope that I miss because there's times where I hand people beer and they're like, this is terrible. Mm-hmm. But I need to hear that feedback. And that's fine. Like, if you're like, oh, this is great, and you give me, like, the bitter beer face. Remember that commercial?
I love that.
Is it really old?
Keystone Light, baby.
Yeah, Keystone.
Bitter beer face. I was just talking about something today. What was it? Oh, never mind. It was something else.
OBJ?
It was Bent Neck Lady. You guys remember Bent Neck Lady?
No. Bent Neck Lady?
You should watch The Haunting of Hill House. I don't watch TV anymore.
It's The Haunting of...
anything. The Haunting of Hill House.
No, it's
There's a new one, Bly Manor.
Bly Manor.
It's not out yet. But The Haunting of Hill House, Bent Neck Lady, that was probably the most surprising thing I've ever watched on TV.
Oh, that's crazy.
It fucking blew my mind.
So you don't...
It blew my mind.
I gotta rewind.
But I don't watch TV anymore. You
don't watch TV anymore?
Nope. No TV. I don't watch TV anymore.
What happened? I want to know.
You guys told me I watched too much TV, so I stopped watching TV.
Okay, don't throw Cobra under it. No, Cobra never, I don't think, ever made that comment. I will shoulder this load.
This is just strictly... JT's completely changed his lifestyle.
I changed my life because I was judged.
Due to judgment from us on the podcast.
I watch one show at a time. Usually. Not anymore. Now I don't watch anything.
Nothing. How do you watch Cubs games then if you don't watch
Cubs
TV?
games not a TV show.
That's not TV.
By the way, the boys so far this season is fantastic.
See? I have no idea. I never watched it.
You're a liar.
I've not watched The Boys season 2. I watched season 1.
They're only releasing 3 episodes every Friday.
That's dumb. I'll wait till they're full. Till they're all out.
So good.
But I'll never watch it. I threw all my TVs away.
What a terrible way to live.
Well, apparently I watch too much TV. So
Well, I mean, you're
stopped
cultured, so
watching
now
TV.
you're just reading books, and there's
No, I don't
You got
even
a
read
record
books.
player
I just read.
spinning in the
I read academic journals. That's all I read.
academic journals.
He just works on
I just
unstable
read articles
molecules.
on data science and geography, and that's it.
That sounds terrible.
Well, that's my life now. It's great. I love it.
Well, good. I'm glad you love
I
it.
don't watch TV anymore.
I need to
What's
do
TV? What is that?
I need to do an ouch out though on beer gifts. My father-in-law just came down this last weekend, and again brought a bunch of beer.
Just so much beer. Nuclearis mostly, right?
He did bring a case of Nuclearis
That's
for.
always the case, right?
It's great.
So-
I wish he'd bring me a
But
Nuclearis.
the fact that he pays attention to, and he's not a craft beer drinker. He loves Miller Lite, and he knows what, and he drinks all of
Drink
my
what
good
you like.
bourbon and Miller Lite,
Yeah.
and I will never comment. This is not a negative comment. Hopefully, he's not fast forwarding because he listens.
He won't fast forward.
So
Now he's gonna slow it down.
Yeah, I'm starting because he just goes to our favorite liquor store back home and just buys what looks good. He buys with his eyes.
There you go.
And
Who doesn't?
he pays attention because I always want him to bring me a variety of beers, but he knows what I like. So if I comment on it, he always brings that the next time.
Really?
Where I'm like, you can divert from that. Yeah. So if you look in there,
send
like
you pictures of the shelves, and
like
stuff.
anti-hero, or because I didn't know he was bringing. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, if you bring me some beer, whatever, I'll pay you. And this is the first time I've paid him.
Oh, he accepted.
I just stuffed the money in his
Oh
wallet.
yeah, he won't accept, right?
Yeah,
He's
so
one of those types.
I think the money ended up in my girl's piggy banks. I haven't
Probably.
checked yet because he's
Check.
too gracious or whatever. But so he pays attention because I want like a diversity of beer, but he always goes after the home runs that I like. So he always gets a high score, but they're beers that I've had before.
Yeah.
And he brought one high wire beer. That I'll have to give you guys a can each and hear what you guys think of it. But it's just interesting. So gracious. He could, and then he takes care of, because Stacy, all she drinks is Nuclearis when she drinks beer, which is great taste. But it's just fantastic. So you always have those people that are just so magnanimous in life that just want to impart good feelings, good times and everything.
My father-in-law doesn't buy me beer. He
Old style, right?
only
Your
buys
father-in-law?
me insults.
Insoles?
Insults.
Oh, insults.
Insults. He's from California. He lives in California.
Yeah.
Gatorade's from California. Her whole family lives there.
Yeah.
And I took her away from California.
Oh,
But you didn't take the breakfast tacos away, and that's why.
No,
we're
no,
friends.
she's still great at making tacos.
Yeah.
But my father-in-law, it doesn't. I could have the most sophisticated alcoholic beverage that's ever been made, and nail it on like my critique of it.
This sounds like he needs to be. On
And
the
he would
podcast.
fucking rail. He would just tell me I'm wrong, and I'm like, I don't know shit. Like I might as well be drinking. What's that? Malibu. Might as well just drink Malibu, like a fucking loser. That's what he'd tell me, and I'd be like, damn.
There's nothing you can do because you took Gatorade away.
I think as years have gone on, he's given me a little bit more respect.
You can tell he's obviously. a
But
listener.
he's not listening. He thinks it's hilarious to just tear me apart on what I drink.
Did you tell him the
that-
same thing? You tell
is
us
it-
that the podcast is different than
is
real life. We can do that stuff on the podcast. But
Yeah,
we can't do it
yeah.
in real
I
life.
said you can't do that in real life.
And what did he say?
He said nope.
He said, "Get
He
fucked."
said, yep. He said, eat shit.
yeah,
He said, Odell Beckham.
yeah, OBJ that.
OBJ
Oh,
that.
OBJ
that.
that shit. Eat
Yeah.
it.
No. He I think in his as he's aged, he's gotten more accepting of what I drink. But
Is it just strictly limited?
I think
to drinking?
he's just razzing me.
Is it just strictly limited to drinking?
Or does he come after your
drinking.
palate?
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't rip me in any
everything.
other way.
It's just drinking.
Just drinking.
What does he
Oh.
drink?
Yeah.
You know why it is? It's because when I was very young, I was only like 21 at the time. When I first met him, he took us out to this nice restaurant, and I didn't know what to order. Like I was just a novice in drinking.
21.
Because everything when you're 21, you've had beer.
Please tell
And
me you
you've had
ordered
like
a Zima.
the dumbest shit, like
Or a Red Dog.
Four Locos and
It's
stuff.
can't
No,
wait.
fuck no. I
did you order?
ordered a cocktail,
Oh, great!
but it was
Sex
Malibu.
on the beach.
It was Malibu.
It was Malibu.
It was Malibu and Coke, I think. It was awful.
Like a rum and coke. With
Yeah, like a
Malibu?
rum and Coke, but with Malibu. I didn't know what to order because I thought like, oh, I'll order a cocktail, Because
Malibu
this
and
is
Coke?
better than ordering a beer at a nice fancy restaurant.
You know what's going to make my Captain Coke better? Coconut. Just throw a lot of
Fuck yeah,
coconut.
coconut. Throw some coconut in there. So he's made fun of me ever since, and it's not like I don't go home and
I felt
hate
bad
my
for you
father-in-law.
up until I heard
like
that
this
cocktail
guy.
order.
Yeah.
I like this guy, but what was I supposed to do? I didn't know what to do.
I would have just had water, honestly.
I didn't
wouldn't
order.
drink.
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
mean,
drink.
I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have.
You
But what was the
made
fuck
up
was that?
something. Like, had you ever heard of a Malibu and Coke before?
I have no idea. Maybe I had at the time.
I would just stick to water. I wouldn't get drunk. I wouldn't drink alcohol in front of the dude. If it was like, if it was a very first
Yeah,
meeting,
very first time. He took us to this
Very
nice place,
first
and I was like,
time.
"What do I order?"
water.
They're all ordering this fancy shit in California. You know, I don't know anything about.
I would
California.
order fancy water.
Yeah, give me some Perrier.
Yep. give me some
Perrier.
fancy water.
Different whole execution in Secton, Wisconsin. Like, if you can't hold it, I'm not saying
I
everyone.
didn't say I couldn't hold it.
I'm not saying everyone.
I was
gets
in the Navy at the
I'm not
time.
saying
I could drink alcohol.
I'm not saying everyone
I
gets
just didn't know what to order.
gets obliterated in Wisconsin, but Malibu.
No, you're saying can't hold it. That's different than ordering
that's
the
it.
wrong drink.
Yeah.
I ordered
what would
because
you
I
have
thought I
normally
was
ordered?
ordering something cool and
just-
sophisticated.
he
I would
just
order a
laughed.
beer.
Sophisticated.
I mean, in the Navy,
Did you-
we drink beer. That's all we drink.
So
In-
why'd you order a
Razz-
beer?
we came from Virginia Beach. Literally, all we drank in Virginia Beach was Yingling. Constantly. It was on tap. It was cheap. It was like $2 a pitcher. Get that shit and just drink it all night long.
So
I mean-
So we went to this nice restaurant. I'm not cultured.
he just razzes
What do
you
I
over
know?
this.
What do
over
I
this
know
drink.
about seafood restaurants and
I
steak
think it's
and
hilarious.
shit?
I think
So
it's
I was
should
like,
ask
you
him.
know what? I'm gonna order this drink. It's a cocktail. That sounds pretty nice already, right? Sounds pretty good. Cocktail. Let's get a cocktail, guys. It comes in a shorter glass with ice on the rocks. Put a little stir stick in there. Malibu and Coke. Boom.
Maybe a little
Fucking bring that shit over.
umbrella.
I'm gonna. It's. No, let me remind you, I'm 14 years older than I was back then, so you can't, hold that to me now. I know how to
So
order
I-
a cocktail. We've been to a whiskey bar together, Chris and I.
So I
ordered an appropriate cocktail.
okay.
I
If
feel.
we're
I
gonna
feel like you did, yeah.
I did.
if we're gonna talk
learned.
about ordering a drink, terrible.
What have you done that was you have no
I'll-
flaws in your life?
I'm gonna tell you. No.
Yeah, please, please.
So
no flaws.
You've never
No, no, no,
ordered
no, no,
the
no, no.
shittiest drink at the bar.
So I'm. Oh,
You
no.
ordered a Cosmo. I know it. It's okay. I'd drink it.
100%. I've got a story right here. So I ordered a beer when I was younger,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stomach it.
Oh, okay.
so
like
my-
how
my-
young?
I'll get to that. So when I was, I couldn't drink the beer, and my grandpa, who was the bartender,
Oh,
goes.
Well, then you were super young. So you're going super young.
Let
Because
me
your
finish
grandpa
my
was
s-
the bartender.
You got to finish the story.
I gotta guess it. I feel like I have
Okay.
to guess it.
So,
It's like a game.
my grandpa was the bartender, and he goes, "Well, you're gonna have to finish that." And I go, "Well, I'm gonna need something with it to chase it."
Ooh, a beer cocktail.
Yeah, beer
Yeah.
cocktail. So I'm gonna make a beer cocktail. And
Yeah.
he goes, "What would you like?" And I go, "I'd like a 7-Up." So instead of keeping the two drinks separate, I poured the 7-Up
Yeah.
into the lining kugels.
That makes sense.
I was 12.
12 years old.
12 years old. So when I say that
That's
it's like
different.
in our blood, it's in the culture. I ordered a beer at a bar. It was at a wedding.
Right.
It was at my uncle's
But
wedding.
a beer and 7-Up, that sounds good. That sounds good. You're
That's
talking
the worst.
about a 12-year-old
And then my mom made me drink it.
being
my
able
mom
to
sat next
hold
to
their
me.
beer
My mom-
versus
my
me
mom-
ordering a cocktail as a fucking idiot.
My mom. Well, I was a fucking idiot. I poured
You were
7
12
up
years
into a
old.
beer. Well, yeah. I'm just telling you. I've made mistakes
You've made
too.
mistakes.
See?
All right. That's true. Have you ever made a mistake?
No, I've never made a
Chris has
mistake.
never made a mistake.
Nope, never.
Nope. I wish I would have known
Infallible.
at the time. You don't.
I
you
like
don't
that he
do
just still brings that up.
He does.
Yeah.
He doesn't bring like that specific incident up, but in his mind, I'm an idiot when it comes to ordering.
In his
drinks.
mind, that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. But we've grown a lot, and I think he likes me now,
Yeah.
which is good.
But he still makes fun of you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can he
That's
come
like
on the
our
podcast?
relationship? My relationship with
Consider
my
your-
father-in-law is much different than yours with your father-in-law. Like he buys you cases of beer,
Like we did the bourbon
fills
trail
your
together.
fridge. I'd do the bourbon trail with him.
No, we did. We have
would.
done.
We would if
Yeah.
he lived closer. But he would make fun of me the whole time. No matter what. Even if I drank him under the table.
Yeah.
He'd make fun of me. And I like that, actually.
Oh, I think
like
it's
that
healthy. I'm
relationship.
still scared to death of my father.
I wish I'm glad that he's
he
like
will kill
that.
me.
Because, otherwise, I don't want to be like this weird, awkward thing. I like that he makes fun of me. It's cool.
It keeps it weird and awkward.
Keeps it weird and awkward.
Keep it weird. What's that, Portland? Keep it strange?
Keep it strange, yeah.
Keep
I
it
think
strange.
Portland's
keep it weird.
motto is keep it
weird.
Yeah, keep it weird.
Keep it weird?
I think Portland pioneered that saying, and then Austin took it, and now like Austin, Texas,
Now it's like a hipster
also
thing.
took yeah.
Don't-
So any place that has like a kind of weird hipster like cool kind of young
Like
vibe,
steampunk.
just artsy whatever in general,
Yeah.
all of a sudden they'll take that.
Like Des
stupid-
Moines is keep it anal.
Yeah, Des Moines keep it anal. Everyone knows that. That's common knowledge. It's
DMA.
Des Moines.
Des
love
Moines
anal.
anal.
Yeah,
DMA.
they love it.
Boom.
big time anal city.
Huge anal city.
I'm glad I didn't have
So
that
much
time.
corn.
Big time.
Well, that's the Brew Crew
Ooh,
podcast.
speaking of anal.
Anal, yeah. Episode 104. It's been a good one. Oh, we forgot to do the can out boner segment.
We
for
did.
the-
I've been waiting.
Wow.
I've been waiting to call you out.
I remembered. This is Unstable Molecule Can Art Butter segment brought to you by Dave. So it's a lot of geometric shapes. I think it's there's some show or some movie that this is like the intro to, where it's like a bunch of like connecting geometric shapes, but I don't remember what it is.
Full
Do you
House?
remember? Full House, yeah, Full House. Everywhere you go. However that song
Uncle
goes.
Jesse and
Uncle
Michelle
Jesse.
riding in the back seat with Dave Coulier. Uncle Joey.
Who's Jesse's wife?
Lori Loughlin.
She's the one with the college problems.
Prison.
She's a good looking woman.
She hasn't aged at all.
Let me just tell you, just from pure honesty,
Like you've
she's
said,
a good looking woman.
California women are good looking.
She looks great.
You've said that since day one.
Yeah.
I've known you.
And it's got some geometric shit going on. So we talked a few weeks ago, maybe even last week, the effects that foil has on can art is amazing. It especially in the lighting, like the church room bar, it really makes certain patterns pop. And that's what this does. I wish I had more can art to show for this episode, seeing as it was my beer submission, because you guys have submitted some great can art, and it carried the episode, I feel. Each of your two beer submissions have carried the episodes. But this, not so much. But yeah, that's the Can Art Boner segment, brought to you by Dave.
All right.
Foil geometric shapes, and the Branch and Bone logo is on every can. They plaster it, all over it. Looks great. Good job. That's it, episode 104.
That's great. Yeah.
I just killed the episode, but at least I didn't forget the Can Art Boner segment, because
I think
remembered
that's
late.
a new flow thing. You know what? We should close out with the Canner boner segment
I
from
don't
the
think we
second
should
beer.
ever do that
No?
again.
I was waiting and waiting
Never
and
do
waiting.
that again. Never close with the Can Art Boner segment. But
It's
at
a
least
closer.
it happened.
It's a closer. It's
At
the
least
one
it
segment that has stuck with us.
Yeah, we always get 2 boners an episode.
Yeah.
We get 2 boners.
Yeah, sometimes 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
like it. I'm disturbed.
I'm used to it at this point.
Just numb.
We're all used to it.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Year 3.
I'm ringing the
whatever.
bell.
Whatever.
You're 3. Clothing optional.
Yep. That's it. Just waiting on Matt now. 104. Bye.